The 2025 Central Texas Catalyst Award, presented by AARO.
Pete was a lawyer. We all know that. I think the word lawyer has a connotation of transactional. I always thought Pete was a counselor at law. A little different approach, a little different connotation, because he really was trying to understand and give advice that would be beneficial for all concerned.
He was always leading really in two ways. One was to make sure you saw the vision. He was never unclear about what it was he wanted to achieve. So there was a lot of clarity there. But the second thing was that he led by his example of then doing the work.
When he saw an issue, when he saw a problem, when he saw something that needed to be addressed in the community, he was not afraid to step in and invest his time, his resources, everything that needed to be done to change whatever it was to make the community better.
Pete's leadership style was legendary. He was always what I would call selfless leader, but he had a passion for everything he did. He was willing to take on any challenge, and he would do it in a very thoughtful way.
Pete's first love, there's no question about it, was Tommy and his family. Pete had such a big heart, big brain, and big passion that he had room for love and care and nurturing of other things. Thank goodness for all of us.
Interdependence and connection with Pete was kind of his core. I mean, he loved being a lawyer, he loved his firm, but his true joy was giving back to the community or making a difference in the community.
One of his talents was to, again, he would have a vision, he could articulate the vision, and he could connect with you, like in an authentic way, telling you why he felt this initiative was so important to him, but then understanding you personally, connecting with you to help you understand why it should be important to you and others like you.
When there were things that were maybe competing and the community's done it for years, whether it's airports, city, civic things, he brought people together to make the city of Austin a better place.
If you ask me to trace Pete Winstead, the projects that have Pete Winstead's fingerprints on them in some way, there are a whole bunch of them.
One of those was the Mueller project. I worked with him some on that one, but his ability to identify catalysts and understand how to pick a partner to develop that project that would deliver on all of the things that he thought was important, all of the things that Austin thought was important. His leadership was critical.
The Austin-San Antonio corridor, oh my goodness. Pete had that. He knew it a long time before anybody else saw it.
He didn't just focus on one issue area. It could have been transportation, or it could have been water, or who knows, business development. But he saw the interdependence, and he placed himself in all those places. And that was a real lesson for me about how a community becomes strong, how a community grows, and how you have to lean into all the parts.
Our public safety working group started shortly after Pete had come off the Crime Commission as chair. And so he brought his lived experience as a participant and leader of the Crime Commission to our public safety group. And he invited everybody at the table to bring in their own lived experience, including his own, not just as chair of the Crime Commission, but also his life early on as a civil rights lawyer working in the South to help tear down barriers that prevented people of color from fully participating in the American experience.
Pete taught me that leadership isn't about doing everything yourself. So as I think about projects through the Austin Healthcare Council or through AARO, I know that it's really about seeing connections between people and helping them work towards something bigger than any one of us.
Pete and I work closely together on the capital campaign for Del Seaton Medical Center at the University of Texas. Obviously part of the whole medical school vision, huge project, huge initiative that took the whole community to get behind it, literally. And Pete was, at a high level, just kind of helping to craft that vision of how we were going to raise, $50 million in philanthropy for the hospital. It is now, saving lives and transforming healthcare across an 11-county region.
Just spending time with him influenced you. You wanted to be better. You wanted to be your best self.
So many of those traits and the authentic leadership that he brought will remain with me for the rest of my life.
He also really helped me think about how do you think about a project that's going to benefit and raise up the entire community, but then who strategically needs to get involved for it to be successful.
Pete saw a lot. He had good vision in what was needed, and he had a way of seeing how someone could make it better. And maybe they don't have any interest at all, but he taught people that you need to give back to the community that's made you successful. He also was very good about mentoring younger people to get them more involved, and when they were involved, to get them step up and take first chair, take some leadership roles.
I'm very pleased that Pete is receiving the 2025 Catalyst Award for Central Texas because somebody that has had the privilege of getting to work with him and be near him while he was doing that kind of work, I saw his catalytic effect, and I saw the joy that he brought to bringing about change.
I think his guiding principles were to listen carefully, understand the problem, look long-term, build a collaborative environment, and then get it done.
Say yes. Say yes. That's what Pete taught. He really taught people how to say yes.